together.
Oh my goodness, sorry, I had to let that out. I've been holding that in all night. Woo! Oh, it's gonna be hard for me to contain myself in this structure, okay? So if I'm rocking and doing I move around so a lot of times when I preach, but I certainly wanna keep Jesus in the Eucharist central, and so bear with me if I look a little caged up here. But you know that, I was just thinking as we were singing, and just a lot of emotion kind of flooding through and just part of our prayer tonight. And you know, when we were singing Let It Rain, I don't know if you guys do crazy stuff like this in your own time. I remember one time on retreat, and it was a thunderstorm woke me up, and we were required to go on a priest retreat or a week-long retreat every year. And I'll be heading out next week for that. And it was somewhere in Cleveland, and it was raining and thunderstorm, middle of the night. And so I did what any natural person would want to do, right? I went running outside, and I just remember, you know, just kind of sitting on a bench and looking up, and as I was being drenched, just, you know, watching the rain come down. And just kind of opening up, you know, and a lot of symbolism with the water and starting new and renewal. You know, and as we were praying, you know, let it rain. You know, you think about that's the grace that God's showering upon us every moment. You know, and we try to open ourselves to. And let wash us new and inspire us and transform us. And that image of just being, during that song, of just, you know, opening ourselves and just letting the rain come down. You know, just powerful for me. And whatever ways that we can, the reality of the gospel, making it real in our own lives. Whatever, you know, and being on the lookout, you know, praying for God for the sensitivity to doing that. To allowing that grace to open our eyes, our hearts, our minds, our ears. You know, I think that's a big part of this movement, that the Made2Worship. You know, what Greg's talking about and the vision of what we're about, and it's certainly not Greg's vision, right? It's the church's vision. The beauty of our Catholic faith, the incarnational reality, that God meets us here, that He's here in many ways. I remember hearing these words as I was getting ready to go up on a new experience that I was about to endeavor in. Maybe you've heard these words before. Whatever you do, don't look down. Right? Who looked down? Anybody look down? You guys, you know, isn't that our nature, right? I can't see you, so you're off the hook. But some of you guys were looking down, right? We're told not to, we do it. But whatever you do, don't look down. Now, what was interesting, it was impossible for me not to. I was getting ready for the ripcord at Cedar Point. You guys, you know, that's that new thing at all the, maybe it's not so new these days. This was back in the late 90s, right? But the thrill ride where you get pulled up, you know, by the cords from behind. You're in this harness, and then you pull the ripcord. You just let yourself go. So what do they tell you? Don't look down, right? And the nature of the ride, you cannot not look down unless you close your eyes. You are staring down, okay? And so here I am, and what happens, if again, you would know this if you've done this, you get into this harness, next thing you know, and it's 1 to 3 of you, I was with a friend of mine, there were 2 of us, and you just start, whether you like it or not, right, whether you're ready to or not, they just start pulling you backwards. And so as you're standing there, your feet are pulled off the ground, and you are just slowly being elevated off the ground. 130, 40 feet. And I think I can honestly say, absolute most scared I've ever been in my life, okay? Being pulled up, it was at nighttime, make it a little more dramatic, okay? And absolutely terrified. Thankfully, it's not that much time, right? So you get up there, 3, 2, 1, you have to pull your own cord, right? And then you go, and then you survive, right? I survived, I'm here to tell about it. But the thing about it, and isn't it the worst, it's always the anticipation, right, on every ride. Once you're in it, you're surviving, you're getting through it, but it's the anticipation. But that's the thing. It was so scary because there was nothing between, at least that I could see, between me and the ground. It was this harness that I had on me that was, and the cords pulling me up. And I was thinking about it, and I said, that's what made that so terrifying. But again, unless I closed my eyes, there was no way I couldn't look down. But that reality of what we talk about in the faith life, wasn't that the challenge that Peter had in our gospel today? You can almost hear Jesus say, right? Peter, whatever you do, don't look down. You'll be fine, but stay with me, right here. And what does Peter do? We don't, the words that we hear, he saw how strong the wind was and he became frightened. So we don't know that he necessarily looked down, but certainly his sensitivity, his awareness went away from Jesus. Went away from Jesus. And so what he was capable to do with that gaze fixed on Jesus, as soon as he allowed the reality of the challenges around him to overwhelm him, he couldn't succeed. And so we come here, and the thing is, and what I see in that experience of the ripcord on some level is I kind of relate it, to the way that we're called to new heights, right, in our God. Here I was going up 130, 140 feet, but no real physical manifestation of the support that I had. And the reality that we have in our faith life is we are called to new heights, and at times it can be overwhelming, and maybe it's in the midst of storms and winds and whatever else might be going on in life. The reality is that we have ways, incredible ways in our faith in our church that Christ reinforces that I'm with you. I almost equate the Old Testament, it was almost like, that ripcord. They had nothing around them, right, to reinforce in the giftedness that we do. I shouldn't say nothing, but they had less going on as far as the ways God was manifesting his presence to them. But certainly he was doing it in real and concrete ways. But setting the stage, building up the point to that greatest moment of revelation in Jesus Christ. Saying, I am with you. God is with us. And that's a language we use so often. But if we allow that truth to penetrate our hearts every moment of our lives, we're not just being called to great heights without a visible presence and protection to say, you have nothing to fear. It's okay. Even though you're going to heights that maybe you never thought you could before. But no. What do we have? The gift of the church. We have the gift of Jesus Christ. We have the gift of the sacraments, the greatest gift in the Eucharist. Physical manifestations, a way God says, I am with you, I am here. Do not be afraid. Don't doubt. As we hear Jesus saying to Peter, you doubted. I am with you. What's it going to take for you to completely know that in your heart? Annette, the great witness that she gave, she was talking about moments in her life that she came to know that truth in a new and deeper way. And it brought a peace that this world cannot offer. In the midst of this storm, and in the midst of the potential doubt, keep the eyes focused on Jesus. And to thank God that we have the gifts and to be in a time that we have so many ways that Jesus in our God reveals himself to us, that he is here. I kind of equate it, maybe we're going to heights. You go up to the skyscrapers, right? You go up to the Empire State Building. And how much further do you go up than I was on the ripcord, right? And you stand over the edge and you look down, Does anybody have a height for me? I don't know. I didn't do my research very well. How many thousands of feet? Anybody got a ballpark? Let's make it up. 4,500 feet. But the point is, how far you go up, right? And you have the structure of the support around you. That's the beauty of the church. That's our sacraments. That's everything. I want you to go to great heights, to be heroic, to live radically, because this gospel call is radical. And I want to give you things, man, physical ways, in human, earthly ways to know that I'm with you. I was thinking about that tonight. I was just getting overwhelmed because I come here to St. George, the building, the structure, the community that was the physical, the manifestation, the human manifestation of God's love for me and formation for me in this church building. And then I'm blessed to look around and there are people here from all the different assignments that I've had in Meadville and Hermitage and now in Warren and the crew that came with me from there. These physical manifestations. My family, members of my family being able to be here, and I'm just sitting here thinking, and yet we say, we can be tempted to doubt, God, are you with me? Are you really there? Incredible, amazing love. God's with us. And so we just pray for that grace to be open, to have the eyes to see, the hearts to be open.
Joy to